Hello! I'm Elaine, and I'm a tour guide in the French Quarter. I do ghost tours. And I am not going to tell you the stories that I tell on my tour, because you gotta pay for those. But if you want to hear some interesting things that have happened to me while I'm leading random drunk people around the French Quarter, I got you.
And yet another story of people who are far too intoxicated to be on the tour. Though this one, I'm not even sure if they were drunk or if they were just assholes. So it was a night that we didn't have that many guests. Like it was a relatively quiet group. But the guests I had were a trip and a half. So there was like three or four groups, one of which was three couples. And the wives all seemed perfectly normal and sane and fair human beings. The guys, not so much. And like it started out with them just asking silly questions. When I often start this particular tour because it's the bad bitches tour. I often start it by being like, okay, let's bad bitch our way out here, just as a way of gathering everybody together. But I can only do this when there's nobody else in the store, but I love doing it. And one of the things I like about it is about every third time I do it, there'll be a guy who's like, oh, can I be a bad bitch? And it's like, yes, you can, dear, obviously. And these guys really lived it up for like the next block and a half. They'd be like, yeah, we're bad bitches. We're bad bitches. And I'm like, sure, whatever. I don't care. But we get to the first stop. They're fine. No big deal. They're good. And the next stop, they do keep wandering away, but it's not that big of a deal. I was fine with it. The big problem was at the third stop. And that's a story where I talk about dead babies and a church. And it's not a happy story, but it's a ghost story, so stuff happens. And after I'm done with the story, the dude I mentioned they find babies buried. The guy is like, "Well, at least they didn't find the kids with the priests." And I'm like, "That is that is really not an appropriate joke." But okay. And like it's one of those that like it wasn't just me. Everyone just sort of froze. Nobody laughed. And it was just like, oh honey, no. And it's fine. And we head off to the next stop and the guys sort of wander away. And I heard them talking between the stop that they were planning on going and getting drinks. So I was like, okay, good. They're going to run off and get drinks. And this is the perfect time for them to do it because the next stop is the one that is 110% serious. There is no opportunity for bad jokes. You should not be joking at this stop. And yeah, I started telling the story and they wander away. And I'm like, good. At least I'm not having them try to make jokes about racism. Like, this is going to be better. And then I hear the women sort of snickering, and I'm like, why are they snickering? This is 100% not the time to be snickering. And I'm sort of wondering what the hell's going on until finally one of the women sort of sees me looking confused and points behind me. And the guys are on the other side of the street from us dancing. And by dancing, I do mean like backing it up and like twerking against each other and pretending to slap each other's asses. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I am literally talking about the history of enslavement. And these guys are, miming sexual dances behind me. And I sort of look at them and like wave at them to come back. And they sort of wave back at me as if they thought I was just waving at them to say hi. And finally, I'm like, okay, guys, just focus in on me. And I finished telling the story. And one of the women is like, I'm sorry for them. I just can't take them anywhere. And I'm like, then don't.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to share your own experiences in the comments below.